Hello all, welcome to another live session of Narayana IAS Academy. So today we'll be discussing an interesting topic as well as a very trending topic about the recent Supreme Court judgment on the subclassification of SC/ST quotas. And here we'll also be discussing about what is this particular concept of reservation or subclassification and why is it actually essential within this particular SC community, and what are the clarifications that the Supreme Court had actually given and what was its previous judgment with respect to the same discussion. Okay, so here in this particular article we'll be discussing about a particular term called as formal equality and how it is different from this particular new concept of substantive equality, as well as what are the previous judicial proceedings that the Supreme Court has pronounced over the previous years or in the recent years with respect to reservation. So this particular topic, as you know, becomes very important and can be mapped to GS paper 2 for your mains examination: Indian Constitution, historical underpinnings, evolution, features, amendments, significant provisions, as well as basic structure. Okay, so any particular topic that we will actually discuss now and in the future sessions, we have to analyze what kind of questions have been asked back then about this particular topic in the examination. Okay, so you can actually see a question that has been asked in 2021 regarding the features of right to equality in the Constitution of USA and India. So how it is perceived in these two democracies. Okay, so here that is how you need to actually understand the concept of formal equality as well as substantive equality also. Okay, so formal equality is nothing but I'm just giving you a briefing. This is actually keeping all of them on the same stand, that is, follow a specific set of standard procedures and actually subject all the citizens under the same set of standard procedure. Whereas the substantive equality is actually synonymous to that of equity, where the lesser privileged has to be given a boost or a push in order to compete with the other individuals. Okay, so here we will be discussing about that. And now let us understand what is this verdict and what has been the Supreme Court judgment and the argument that has been given by the Chief Justice of India, especially focusing or emphasizing on this particular term, substantive equality. So the Supreme Court of India's recent verdict on the subclassification of SC or ST reservations highlights the shift from formal equality towards the concept of substantive equality. So here I'm just giving you a background. Okay, so there was a case that was E.V. Chinnaya versus the state of Andhra Pradesh in the year 2004, where the Supreme Court had actually given a verdict stating that the SC, that is the scheduled caste, actually consists of a homogeneous group. So SC consists of a homogeneous group, and so whatever reservation, that is the 15% that they actually avail, okay, so this actually applies to this entire homogeneous group of SC, and so there is no need of any kind of subclassification such as the creamy layer that is given to the other backward classes or the OBCs. Okay, now what happened recently, the Supreme Court actually overturned its earlier judgment based on this particular concept of substantive equality. And why? Now this is what we will actually discuss. So what is the recent Supreme Court judgment? Earlier we saw they actually treated the entire SC community as homogeneous, and there was a 15% reservation where all the subcategories under all the different castes under this particular SC community would actually avail. But recently the Supreme Court ruled that subclassification within SCs is constitutionally valid. How? First of all, before that, we need to know what is this concept of subclassification. This is the division of a larger category into a smaller category. That is, SC as a community, divide them into different categories based on the social backgrounds. Okay, so smaller, more specific groups based on one distinct character, based on the distinct characteristics or criteria. Okay, the judgment that was actually given by the Supreme Court recently, it clarified that the principle of subclassification would apply when the social positions of different groups, for example, there are different castes under SC like A, B, C, D, E, etc. And when the positions of these groups are actually different socially, then we can actually apply this particular subclassification. So here, this subclassification can apply when the social positions of different groups within the SCs are not comparable. When A is not equal to B, is not equal to C, then what happens? Subclassification can actually be given. Now, it is very important for us to understand these particular concepts because you can actually cite these either in your essay paper or in your mains answer writing. Like, what is formal equality? Earlier, the precedents that have been given by the Supreme Court, the judicial pronouncements were based on this principle of formal equality. However, over the years, okay, what happens? There has been inclination towards this particular substantive equality or equity, as I told you. So, for that, we'll understand what is formal equality. It is also known as the procedural equality or the equality of opportunity. This is actually based on the principles that all individuals should be treated same under the law and that the identical standards should actually apply to everyone regardless of which background they come from, regardless of the circumstances they are in. And historically, if you see all the pronouncements that have been given by the Supreme Court of India, it has adopted a formal equality approach, treating reservation as exceptions. They actually thought that this reservation does not form a part of formal equality. That is why if you see in judicial proceedings like the state of Madras versus Champakam Durarajan in 1951, the court initially viewed reservation as unconstitutional, emphasizing a formal understanding of equality. Followed by that, in 1963, there was a case, that is M.R. Balaji versus State of Mysore. This case reinforced formal equality by establishing that reservation must actually not exceed a particular standard, or you can say a certain threshold of 50%, reflecting the belief that too many reservations would actually undermine this particular principle of merit. Then moving on, in 1992, in Indra Sahane versus Union of India, while this case upheld the validity of reservation of the OBCs, it also introduced a category called as creamy layer, and they said the 50% of reservation or the cap that the creamy layer can actually not avail. Okay. Now, the efficiency concerns. The focus on formal equality often leads to a tension between the reservation as well as the administrative efficiency. Okay, and also there's a common notion that people who qualify through reservation, they are not capable of efficient administration. But this particular judgment actually had recalled that notion. Okay, it was contrary to that conventional notion. According to Article 335 of the Constitution, that states that reservation must be consistent with the maintenance of efficiency in the administration, traditionally interpreted as reservation potentially undermining the merit and efficiency. So earlier it was thought that if given reservation, this would actually be hampering this particular merit as well as efficiency. So this is where we have something called as substantive equality in place. What is this? This is often called as the equality of outcome, or it is also called as equity. Okay, that is uplifting, where A is actually of a higher standard or from a better social background or an economic background, and B is actually lesser privileged and C is lesser privileged. And how you give equity? Equity is actually provided this way. So this is called as equity, bringing up or giving a push or the boost to the underprivileged C. So here it is also called as the equality of outcome, or equity seeks to address and rectify the systemic inequalities or any kind of historical injustices that a particular caste or community had gone through by considering varying needs, what are the disadvantages they had gone through, and the circumstances of different groups. And also you can see there has been a shift towards substantive equality in the Supreme Court in the recent precedents of the pronouncements that have been given. So first one is State of Kerala versus N.M. Thomas, 1975. Here the Supreme Court actually held a upheld a Kerala government order, this which allowed for the relaxation of qualifying criteria for SC/ST candidates under the government job. Next one is State of Punjab versus the Davinder Singh, 2024, most recent. This case allowed for the subclassification within the SC and the ST reservation, recognizing that not all the beneficiaries of the affirmation or the affirmative action face the same level of disadvantage. Now moving forward, here what is the clarification or the argument that the Chief Justice of India actually gave is that the Chief Justice of India, Mr. D.Y. Chandrachud, challenged the conventional notion that reservation dilute the merit or any kind of efficiency in the administration, arguing that achieving minimum qualification is adequate for maintaining efficiency in the administration. Okay, so this does not mean that you need to be a topper and score 100 on 100 in order to maintain efficiency in administration. So even if a candidate actually qualifies through reservation by satisfying the set criteria by the government, then they can also establish an equivalent efficiency in administration. So this was actually the trending topic for today that we had actually discussed regarding what do you mean by the formal equality as well as substantive equality, and this becomes a very important topic of discussion. And also you need to go through the details of what is reservation is, what was the Mandal Commission's recommendation, how it originated, as it actually has a potential it is a potential question for your upcoming mains examination. So with this we are done with today's live session. So more such live sessions as well as discussions on very hot topics, please do like, share and subscribe to Narayana IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you and have a good day.